Michael Chandler is a man with many options, and after his amazing knockout victory over Tony Ferguson at UFC 274 in the second round by front kick KO, I feel as though he has propelled himself into the peak of relevancy within the MMA community, and he also made an amazing post-fight octagon speech where he called out Charles Oliveira, called out Justin Gaethje, called out Conor McGregor for a bout at 170 pounds, and also more recently after that on Twitter, called out Nate Diaz, and Nate Diaz has actually responded to Michael Chandler, saying that he wants to fight Michael Chandler on the 30th of July, and now they're sort of talking with the UFC. I think I just saw a video of Nate Diaz, or a picture of Nate Diaz, relieving himself outside of the UFC PI offices on the lawn of the UFC PI. That's now doing the rounds in the media. So maybe the interviews and the negotiations aren't going too well for Nate Diaz for him to make that move upon leaving the offices. But either way, Michael Chandler is a man with options. He doesn't really want to fight Dustin Poirier. I don't know why. I think it's because Dustin Poirier, apparently Chandler said he disrespected him when he first came over to the UFC, but like, surely that would be a reason you would want to fight someone. I'm not too sure why he wouldn't want to fight him, but either way, he doesn't want to fight Beneil Dariush, doesn't want to fight Islam Makhachev. He wants Oliveira, Justin Gaethje, Conor McGregor, and Nate Diaz. And in my opinion, this is why MMA is such an amazing sport. I feel as though he would knock out Conor McGregor in the first round if that's his next fight. But if he was going to fight Nate Diaz at 170, I think he would lose to Nate Diaz. I really could see that happening, in all honesty. And especially if he takes that fight on the 30th of July, where he's just taken a little bit of damage. He's not going to be able to punch for quite a while, because I think one of his ring fingers or something like that is completely dislocated. So he's going to have to recover from that. But if he does want to rush back in for a July 30th matchup against a huge name in Nate Diaz, I think Nate Diaz, even though I don't really like his chances against many fighters in the UFC rankings, Chandler gets overexcited beating people up. We saw that against Charles Oliveira. And he also doesn't have the best gas tank if he does go for a massive amount of finishing chances early on. And Nate Diaz took a soccer kick to the face from Jorge Masvidal. Now, I don't think people really understand what that means. Jorge Masvidal winded up a soccer kick on the face of Nate Diaz, while Nate Diaz was hunched over, already on his way down to the canvas from being concussed, and he didn't get KO'd. I feel as though in a Nate Diaz-Chandler matchup, things could get interesting, and if it's a 5-rounder, I actually don't mind Nate Diaz's chances now there, but I think his main priority is to fight Conor McGregor. However, Conor McGregor's saying that his earliest return date is going to be in November. It might even be until the start of next year. So for Michael Chandler, if he wants to stay active now that he's still somewhat near his prime, he's going to want to get going and take a fight in the meantime. But if he wants to wait out and sit out and wait for the Conor McGregor matchup, I feel as though he would beat Conor McGregor, and that is really worth sitting out and waiting. However, Conor McGregor has a really good chance against Michael Chandler, because Michael Chandler's chin seems to let him down quite a bit, in all honesty. It doesn't even seem like at times he's getting hit by the heaviest of shots, but he'll still go down to the canvas. Now, the Justin Gaethje uppercut that he hit Chandler with was an amazing one, and he even was walking into shots in the third round. So MMA chins make zero sense. Ferguson, after his brutal KO against Chandler, could come back with a better chin. That's just how MMA works sometimes. However, Chandler seems to go down off of the weirdest shots that seem to barely catch him on the chin, and Conor McGregor's really good at catching people on the chin. However, after a long time off and his injury, I feel like Michael Chandler would go out there, calf kick him a couple of times, make Conor McGregor overthink the calf kick and feel like he needs to defend it, and maybe he doesn't really trust that his leg's going to be absolutely okay when he first comes back, and he's going to be overthinking that in the fight, and then Michael Chandler's going to land a big KO blow, and it might be the first time ever that we see a guy completely flatline KO Conor McGregor, and I'm all here for it, because that kind of build-up, it's a different level of excitement. If you watch a Makhachev-McGregor matchup, the excitement is there, the beef is there, the history is there, but the outcome for Conor McGregor in the fight is either he gets a big KO over Islam Makhachev, which I'm not saying would happen, or Makhachev takes him down and subs him. And it's yeah, sure, Conor McGregor loses and everyone laughs at Conor McGregor and mocks him for losing and stuff like that, but it's not really like a humiliating loss for him in the way that a one-shot KO would be. Now, Dustin Poirier putting him away by TKO was an amazing win for Dustin Poirier, but we kind of knew building up to that fight, if Dustin Poirier was going to win, it would be by decision, or he would TKO McGregor as the fight went on against a cage. Michael Chandler could Tony Ferguson Conor McGregor. In all honesty, he could go out there, trade a couple of shots back and forth, land a couple of calf kicks, and then bam, bam, put Conor McGregor out cold, sweat spraying everywhere, Usman versus Masvidal style, and really put him out for good on the canvas. And that would be a crazy outcome. A crazy outcome, and that's what I'd be there for. Now, the build-up of that fight wouldn't be too interesting, in my opinion. I feel like it'd be Michael Chandler just saying how much he respects Conor McGregor and saying that, you know, Conor McGregor has bootstraps just like me, and we both pull them up and get back to work. You know, we're not so different, him and I. You know, our bootstraps, they're the same type of leather, and all this type of stuff. Like, he would find some kind of way to describe how great McGregor is and that he's chasing greatness to get the Conor McGregor matchup and stuff like that. So it wouldn't be too interesting of a build-up, because I feel like Conor McGregor kind of likes who Chandler is as a person anyway. I really wanted Tony Ferguson to beat Michael Chandler. I picked Chandler to win by brutal KO, but I wanted Tony Ferguson to win, because if Tony Ferguson fought Conor McGregor, the press conference would be just an absolute Xbox Live party chat over a Modern Warfare 2 lobby. Like, it would be insane back and forth. Like, it'd be a Vettori versus Vettori press conference. That kind of craziness, okay? So I really wanted to see Tony Ferguson versus Conor McGregor, but with Michael Chandler's build-up, sure, the trash talk won't be there, the disrespect won't be there, but the potential loss for McGregor would be so brutal and bad that it would still be very, very anticipated as a matchup in the build-up. However, I've said however about 20 times, the Nate Diaz matchup for Michael Chandler, which it seems like actually will happen next, in my opinion. They're talking to Nate Diaz. Like, the fact that Nate Diaz went to the UFC PI and had a meeting with the people that are discussing fights with him, like, a day after Michael Chandler called him out, means to me that the timing of that is relevant, okay? Chandler calls him out. He accepts a fight with Michael Chandler. He's just turned down Khamzat Chimaev again, because everyone who actually accepts a fight with Nate Diaz doesn't want to fight, it seems. But for Michael Chandler, apparently Nate Diaz is very interested in that matchup. He wants that matchup on July 30th. So I feel like there is something in the works for Chandler versus Diaz. Maybe not on the July card, maybe on the August card instead, with like Usman Edwards as the main event and maybe a co-main event of Aljamain Sterling, TJ Dillashaw in a feature fight of Michael Chandler, Nate Diaz. Put whatever else you want on that card. It's a great card. I want to see that matchup. I think it's going to happen next. It doesn't really make too much sense because I kind of want Chandler to take on a Poirier or something along those lines, but I feel like Nate Diaz will beat Michael Chandler. I really do, and that's the other part of this that I was discussing a little bit earlier. His style is so perfect. He took a soccer kick to the face and did not go out against Jorge Masvidal. This guy, unless you land perfect shin to dome, Josh Thompson style, which still wasn't a KO win, it was a TKO victory that Nate Diaz just couldn't quite recover from quick enough. I could really see Michael Chandler hurting Nate Diaz a bunch of times in the first round, getting on the ground with him, ending up in some awkward positions, but landing some big ground and pound shots and cutting him open with some big elbows, and Nate Diaz gets back up. There's a cut over one eye, there's a cut over his nose, there's a cut on his cheek, and he's just bleeding, and it's a Nate Diaz type fight. Chandler hurts him again in the second round. He's landing big shots, ground and pound. Nate Diaz has a couple of close submission attempts, works his way back up to his feet. They're against a cage now. Michael Chandler's trying to chew up the leg, land some big body shots, go for their head again. He's swinging like crazy, looking for a finish. And as the rounds go on, if it's a 5-round Nate Diaz matchup, which I feel like they're going to do every time to give Nate Diaz as much of an advantage to succeed as they possibly can, I feel as though Diaz would win that as it goes on. I don't know if that's good for Chandler. I could really see Chandler against a cage like shelling up, like just taking like little shot after little shot from Diaz with that little tap style that he has. And I could really see Diaz putting it on Michael Chandler and finishing him in rounds 4 or 5 by TKO. And it's weird to say that because Michael Chandler is out there going to war with Gaethje, and he's out there beating Oliveira in the first round 10-8, and he's beaten Tony Ferguson by second round KO. But even in the first round of that Tony Ferguson fight, he didn't look that good, in all honesty. And that's where I'd give Conor McGregor a little bit more of a chance to have that KO victory over Michael Chandler, just as I could see Chandler getting a KO victory over Conor McGregor. However, I would lean towards Chandler getting a big KO win. Nate Diaz is the perfect style to beat him. So let's make that matchup, because that is intriguing. Like, I don't want to see like a... Leading up to the Leon Edwards fight, I genuinely thought Edwards is going to beat him up the entire fight long, and then maybe like finish him with a body kick or something like that. That was my opinion. Round 4, body kick TKO for Leon Edwards. And then Diaz made it interesting in the 5th round by landing that one good shot. But before that, he was being schooled, manhandled. He was just getting picked apart by Leon Edwards. He was still in the fight, trying to make it competitive, but Leon Edwards doing enough each round to just glide out a victory and stuff like that. But this Chandler one, the build-up would show me, like, Diaz has a legit chance here. This isn't like a fight where he's going to be a massive underdog. I could see Michael Chandler maybe being a 3-1 favorite, but does Michael Chandler flatline KO Diaz? If he does, amazing. He flatline KOs Diaz. They get rid of him out of the sport. We don't have to hear about him calling out fighters, only for them to say that they want the fight and then him to tell them that he doesn't want to fight them whatsoever. Like, we don't have to hear about that nonsense anymore. I want Luke. Luke, I'm down. Let's do it. I don't want Luke. He's a bitch. I want this other guy, Chimaev. Oh, I'm down. Let's do it. July 30th, me versus you. I don't want Chimaev. I want... who's not going to accept a fight with me? You know what I mean? That's how Nate Diaz feels like at the moment. But if Michael Chandler wins, we get someone to flatline KO Diaz or finish him with punches, which has really never been done, outside of Josh Thompson with that big head kick, of course. And I feel like that would build Chandler's name even more for a McGregor matchup anyway. Or we get Nate Diaz back, we pay him a bit more money, and then we can get some Nate Diaz matchups, and then a Nate Diaz-Masvidal rematch would make some kind of sense in terms of where they're ranked. Nate Diaz would get somewhat of a high ranking in the welterweight division. I'm sure he'd be ranked somewhere, or maybe in the lightweight division he'd barely creep into the rankings, and then we're looking at matchups like Justin Gaethje, Nate Diaz, that could make some kind of plausible sense. This is the perfect matchup. Make this matchup. I'd be intrigued. I think Nate Diaz would win. I'd probably pick Nate Diaz as an underdog in that matchup, which I know he would be. But Michael Chandler would flatline KO Conor McGregor. Styles make fights. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Click that button up there. Toodle pip. I'll see you later. Goodbye.